Hey, what's up guys? MKBHD here. And you know what's exciting? We just started the second half of 2020 and we're expecting a lot more major releases in just the tech world in general. We saw a lot of minor stuff in the first half, but just in the smartphone world, Pixel 5 is probably coming, along with maybe Pixel 4a, Galaxy Note 20 and maybe Note 20 Ultra, Galaxy Fold 2, Asus ROG Phone 3, OnePlus Nord, and iPhone 12, just to name a few. So this video is what I'm hoping for based on what we think we know about iPhone 12 and what I have here, which are the classic mid-year dummy models of the iPhone that come out that sort of ideally, hopefully represent something like what we're going to see in the final version in September. So the theme that I'm going to blanket over everything we see here is iPad Pro. A lot of the changes and improvements and additions we're expecting and hoping to see in this next iPhone are kind of already in the iPad Pro, one of my favorite gadgets in a long time. But first thing you'll notice about this iPhone 12 stuff is the sizes. There's 3 sized models here representing basically what we'll see as iPhone 12, iPhone 12 Pro, and iPhone 12 Pro Max. But this time, as you can see, the non-Pro phone is the smallest iPhone, unlike previous years where it was like the middle size. And then the approximate screen sizes we're looking at here are 5.4 inches, 6.2 inches, and 6.7 inches. Now, if you know me, you know I'm a big phone person, but I've been using the smaller iPhone lately, and I think a lot of people are going to appreciate this smallest version of the iPhone 12. It's like the closest thing to what we've been hoping for, which is a refinement of that old square design. And 5.4 inches as a screen size is surprisingly compact. And just for some perspective, the last time we had a Samsung flagship of that screen size was Galaxy S7. So I've always given out a best small phone of the year in my smartphone awards at the end of every year, and it seems like it's always just the smallest iPhone versus whoever else decided to make something like a small flagship in the past year, because it's such a rare thing to do. So I have a feeling it's going to look the same way this year with this small iPhone. And then at the other end of the spectrum, the biggest iPhone is even bigger. 6.7 inches is massive. That would be the biggest iPhone ever, and also consequently their biggest battery ever, and the most room internally in any iPhone. But really, I gotta say, after all these iOS 14 updates we got with the widgets and everything, this is probably the phone that's most likely to take the biggest advantage of it. This is probably the phone I'm gonna end up with. But if you want a breakdown of all the iOS 14 features that we have seen, link below the like button. It's a lot of stuff, and it's, I think, one of the biggest updates ever. But anyway, here's a little mock-up, thanks to the magic of video editing, of what that huge screen might look like on iPhone 12 Pro. That's my iOS 14 home screen right now, and it's just a massive canvas for watching videos and gaming, multitasking, and all that sweet iOS 14 picture-in-picture stuff. Plus, the notch does look a little bit smaller when the screen is a little bit bigger. And I guess that brings us naturally to the design, which you've definitely noticed by now. Straight from the iPad Pro, we got these squared off flat sides. And you know what that means. It'll stand up on its own without a stand now. I don't know why that's so satisfying to me, but it's just fun that it does that. Now, I know most people have a case on their phone, but if I can just speak to the small minority of us who carry a phone naked, who don't have a case on it and who feel it every day, the rounded sides of the iPhone were just a little less satisfying to hold, and these flat sides it just feels more secure and just more confidence inspiring. So beyond just the aesthetics of looking better with flat sides, I really do think like it feels better to have flat sides. So now it inherits that cleaner, more modern iPad Pro look. And we're still looking at a pretty similar camera bump on the back, Apple logo in the middle of the phone. It's still familiar iPhone, as we've said for like the last 10 straight years. But that's what Apple does. You know, they know being a better but still familiar version of what they've done for so long is just gonna work, and that's about as big of a design change as we expect to see. Now, the notch on the front, this is something the models can easily get wrong. My wish list is smaller notch, just purely for aesthetic reasons, but I also know that to keep Face ID and to keep all those sensors means you still gotta keep some kind of notch, so I don't expect it to be a drastic change until they get rid of it completely. That day may come somewhere in the distant future when they decide to add Touch ID back underneath the glass of the iPhone, but generally I wouldn't